Okay, hi everybody. Just gone live now, just waiting for one or two people to join us. We've had some new issues with YouTube, who've decided to label just about everything that we are doing as an infringement of copyright. Meantime, no copyright is infringed. So it's been a bit of a challenge in that with these channels and getting them going. I know that other services do make the job lighter and easier. But the reality is that we can't put so many people on there. Okay, so that's where the challenge comes. If we use something like Zoom, we can put a limited number of people there. Whereas if we're using YouTube, we can have as many people as want to join this actual chat, and we can help as many people as possible. So these are all issues that we are going to work with YouTube on to try to figure out what's going on and why they're blocking non-copyrighted material as copyrighted material. So anyway, we'll get there, and just trying to get the last one or two people here. Please let me know if you're here. If you haven't yet on the chat, please let me know that you're here and we can get going. Okay, so we have Kathy there, welcome. Okay, I know that there are a few other people, but I'm not going to wait for that. I think we all need to get moving on this so that we can at least help each other out and learn a bit from it. Now, this invitation to a meeting like this was actually open to everybody, and our whole thing is that we want to try to help as many people as possible, just as a value-added service. There's no charge for these meetings of any kind. We're just going online, and we're going to be running a number of tutorials and things as well over the next few weeks while we're in lockdown, and we hope that you will benefit from them and that you will just grow through the experience of being able to just learn some new stuff while you're in lockdown. Okay, so what I want to do is begin by just talking a little bit about this and the way in which this whole thing works. That we're going to do these little seminar kind of discussion things on is this. I am not saying for a moment that I'm the be-all and end-all in terms of businesses and being able to be the big expert. That's not what this is about. Okay, this is about having a look at what some of our clients are doing, what other businesses are doing, both here and internationally, to try to determine whether we can pick up a few points and tips and things like that, and we would then be able to kind of learn a bit from each other at this time. I think there are a few things that are available, and the sooner that we can actually pick up some of these things and start moving early in this process, the better chance we've got of being able to grow our businesses and that after this whole lockdown thing happens. Okay, there's one other person that's trying to get on here. I will sort that out now. Give him the link which Tyron gave us. Just give me a moment to get him up and on board. Okay, so okay, so hopefully Moses will join us in a few moments, and okay, here we go. So hopefully he'll join us quickly in the next few minutes. Okay. All right. I just need some feedback from you guys as to whether you can hear me clearly. If you are able to hear me, just give me a yes in the comments, and I'll know that everything is fine. Okay, so as we wait for that, let me begin with this whole thing. Okay, so all of us know that we are kind of in a situation that we've never been in before. In my life, certainly. Okay, I'm 52. Tyrone calls me an old man. And basically, what we, I've lived a number of years, and in all my life, I've not seen this kind of situation at all. Okay, I have come somewhat close to it on a more localized areas. I was involved as a medic in the medical service when there was a pandemic or an epidemic in 1985 within the military in South Africa, and we had, out of 1,200 army base of troops, we had 800 guys in bed with a coronavirus type flu, and we didn't lose any. We eventually, through isolation and things, we managed to get this virus to retreat, and all of the guys got better. I personally never got it, and that my only other experience with a coronavirus type situation was in Singapore when SARS came out, and again, we had officers there. I was there at the time, and we had to also have kind of strict rules about what you can do and where you can go. Everybody in Singapore was walking around with masks on and things like that. And I never got it, but some of our staff did, and they got seriously ill with it. But again, we had no losses in that. But again, I look at what the government is implementing here and what they're doing, and pretty much what they're doing is the right thing to do. But the effectiveness of this thing with situations where you have people that have to go collect grants, long queues, now people having to go back a second time in order to do it, to collect their money and whatever. It's just exacerbating the problem, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so in a situation, this is just going to drag it out more, and if we think that this is going to just be a 21-day story, I've got a feeling it's going to be a bit longer than that, until we see a drop, a significant drop in the number of new cases. They're going to have to shut down things and keep them shut down quite a bit. So where does this leave us as small businesses? Well, there's a short-term thinking on it, and there's a long-term thinking on it. Okay, so the first thing we've got to remember is, let me just get rid of that noise in the background here. Okay. There we go. The less noise, the better. Okay, so you're going to be in a situation where there's got to be short-term thinking and long-term thinking on this. Now, here's the good news. Okay, this is not the virus to end all viruses. Okay, the way in which people have been panicking about it and things like that is, this is like now the D-Day kind of situation. The world is falling apart, and we'll never recover from all of this and that. That's not true. Okay, coronaviruses come, coronaviruses go. And for as long as people are eating bats and snakes and all kinds of stuff, and that there's going to be transition of disease from animal to man. But you don't need to eat an animal in order to get that. I mean, let's take a look at SARS and things. It came from birds. Okay, bird flu is another issue. Bird flu affects birds and affects men. I remember just 2 years ago in Joburg where we were trying to stop a transmission of bird flu disease from bird to bird, and you would go to the pet shops or whatever, and you had to walk in and do the same kind of stuff that we're doing now. Okay, but it's gone. All right, the epidemic we had in the military, it's gone. The situation in Singapore, 3 months after I left Singapore, it was gone. You hardly heard of it. It's still around. You still get people that get these coronaviruses and things. But generally, once the virus's back has been broken and you've done the right thing, generally they tend to kind of abate, like we're seeing in China now. And then on top of it, you have a situation where the different different antibodies and things that build up in people tends to have an effect, as well as antivirals and things that come out. So, I mean, take a look at swine flu. Okay, swine flu is still around. People are still being diagnosed with it. But it's nowhere near the threat it was before. Okay, and that's what we got to remember. So this too shall pass. Eventually, either through isolation and isolating people, or through some form of antivirus or injection or whatever, it's going to get dealt with. So let us set our minds on that. You can take one of two approaches. I had a client yesterday who had a problem with paying 148 Rand for hosting on account. Now, she wanted to give notice, cancelled it immediately because of the fact that she couldn't pay. But we had already paid across a next month's hosting. Okay, now she wanted to change it. Too late. We couldn't do it. And for that, she wanted to cancel services and go to another provider, a whole lot. So she sends me this letter and that, and I wrote back, basically wrote back to her just one line in which I said to her, I'm not accepting your cancellation, because for 148 versus 2,500 Rand to move your site and redo your SEO, which is the best of the, which is the better of the two worlds. So I said to her, no, you are panicking. You're making rash decisions. We'll deal with the issues as they come. For all we know, that if you can't pay the hosting for the next month and you wanted to carry it over to your other hosting solution, let's deal with that when the time comes. It's early days. We're not going to panic, and we're not going to do that. Anyway, long story short, she just apologized and said, listen, I'm just obviously concerned and worried. Yes, we all are. Not being unsympathetic to her in any way. We're all worried. We're all worried about the fact that we might have got through this month, but what about next month? Okay, what's going to happen next month if we're not carrying out business? It's not the first time that small businesses are asking that question. It may be the first time for us, but again, they asked those questions in Singapore in 2003 and in 2009, I think it was. Same things happen. Shut down of businesses, the whole lot. The small businesses get hit the hardest, but ultimately, you know what? We're all pretty resilient and we will bounce back. But there are certain things that we need to put into place in order to make sure that we can bounce back. And I really believe, and I'm not the only one, but I really believe that we're entering into a new era in South Africa as far as online presence is concerned. Now, why do I say that? Well, firstly, we have people that are climbing onto the internet and using the internet where they never used to. Okay? So what happens is now, Jack and Joan or whatever, generally at work at that, they do the things, they work on the computer, they're limited to their narrow little field of the tasks they do. Now, we see this every day, okay, at NetWise. What happens is people phone up and they don't even know how to open Outlook properly, okay, because they've never used it before. So what actually happens is that we'll end up in a situation where we learn the little bit in that little bubble that we are used to, or that we get taught, and we actually don't expand our horizons. Okay, one of the most powerful things that we've got to remember when it comes to small businesses, the more that you can empower yourself, the better off you're going to be. Okay, I'll expand on this a bit more as we go along. Some of you guys, welcome. I see Vernon has joined us, Moses, and Natalie and Rion. Welcome to you guys. Janice, welcome. We finally got this going. Kathy, Charlene, Mark, welcome to all of you. Now, what I would like you to be able to do at any point in the time that I'm talking to you, I really want this to be interactive. So if you think I'm talking nonsense, then tell me, and tell me what you see. Okay? Use the message, and that I will obviously talk about it. I'll repeat your comment or your question, and we'll chat about it. Okay? But basically, the idea is that you need to give me feedback as we go along. Ask your questions. I don't want you to go away from this without asking questions. Okay? And say, going away with a question that's unanswered. Please don't do that. Okay, so So basically, in terms of your small businesses and that, we have this, and people, our staff, we have this little focus, and that's all that we do, and that's all that we know. And the time has come now where we're actually being challenged through this coronavirus situation and having to learn to work from home, to start embracing technology more. And for many, that is frightening. But the point is that even for you guys, okay, and your businesses and your websites and the services we offer you, the reality is that we're here to help you and to walk you through that. Okay, what we're doing in terms of this webinar this evening is simply part of that. We're just saying, you know what, guys, we're all under the same boat right now, and let's talk about this. Let's be there for one another. This is what we're doing, and we'd like to just chat to you about it. So that's basically what we're doing. All right. So now people are now being forced out into their homes and learning to have to work remotely. I have had people talk to me about things that they've never heard of before. Things like, what is a VPN? I've got to use a VPN from home. I'm being set up to use a VPN. I don't know what a VPN is. And I've had to explain it to people exactly what a virtual private network is, how it works, and that kind of thing. So we're finding that a lot more people are being challenged to begin to work online. Okay? And we're also seeing an upsurge in the number of people prior to this lockdown that started using online ordering systems. Okay, so in other words, e-shop, e-commerce, ordering stuff online. There was a sharp increase in that as people began to prepare for the lockdown. So not everybody was just going to malls and things like that. There was a lot of ordering that was beginning to take place. And several of our clients and that have said to us that these are often people that they've never dealt with before. They've never had to they've never encountered them before. So here's the challenge. We are going to come out of lockdown, whether it be after 21 days or whether it be in June or July or whatever. We're going to come out. There's going to be a massive hole of things that need to be ordered and delivered. And the question is, where are you going to be in this? You can be in the forefront, or you can be in the back. It's entirely up to you. Okay, now, looking at the group of people that are here, you come from various different kinds of backgrounds, and that's good. So whatever we discuss in that here, you've got to take this and you've got to begin to say, how does this apply to me? And if you want to talk about your specific business and what you do, then go ahead and do it. Okay. On the comment section, just start commenting and say, this is what I do in a nutshell, so that the other people in this discussion can actually see what you're doing. All right, so there are a few things that need to happen pretty much immediately, considerations, etc., that have to take place in a situation like this. Okay, the first is, as a small business, you need to secure some liquidity. Okay, that's one of the key challenges for small businesses. Okay, running any business is a risky endeavor. All right, it is. It has its ups and it has its downs. And with the economy being the way it is right now, we've had plenty challenges around businesses and businesses folding and things. I'll give you an example. Last year, Netwise Multimedia lost 17 clients to businesses closing. Okay, that's a higher figure than all 21 years prior to that put together. So small businesses have been taking a strain. Okay, some of them get started. We even in a situation last year, and people will know that we've had to tighten down the bolts in that in order to make sure that we actually can continue to operate properly. But we even had a situation last year for 3 months where we were losing probably about 25 to 30,000 rand a month, because clients were signing up, paying deposits, and we were working on their sites, and then suddenly they would go silent, only for us to find out they're gone. They don't exist anymore. Okay, then we've got to stop the hosting, and whatever's got to be paid across to the upstream provider has to be paid, and the whole lot, and we'd end up being the losers. And that's part of business. That will happen in business. Okay. But the important thing is to understand, yes, we are all going through difficult times. The economy is very, very difficult. Okay? And basically, the long and the short is that we've got to secure liquidity. We need to make sure that we're in a situation or get ourselves into a situation, okay, whereby we can deal with overhead costs, that we have some cash that we have earmarked and put aside for times like this. If we haven't done it now, we'll have to learn our lessons and we'll have to start applying that for a possible next time. Okay, so that's important, but we've got to remember that we have to pay rent, okay, we have to pay staff, we have to pay utilities and things, all of these things that have to be paid, and it doesn't leave much left over. Okay, and that's where the challenge comes in, is because now, where does this money come from that we need, not necessarily for what we pay when we pay our accounts now, it's for next month. Okay, so where we can liquidate one or two things or assets or one or two things in order to be able to pay or keep things going, we may need to do that. All right. So the second point is you need to ensure access to capital. Okay. So if you have any money at this stage that's in a hedge fund, savings account, policies, okay, you may need to draw on some of that to have some cash, because you are still going to need to pay salaries. You're still going to need to weather the storm. Okay, and you're going to need to have cash for the next few months. And that means also in this whole lot that we need to be extremely careful how we spend. Okay, which leads to the third point, is that we need to cut back on unnecessary expenses. And we are used to our little luxuries and things like that. And I'll give you an example. I mean, you can go to the shop quite easily, go buy a packet of chips, 2 chocolates and a cold drink and pay 70 Rand and do it every day or every second day. Add that up across a month and see what it comes to. Okay, some of these things we can cut back until the crisis is over. Have a look at your income and expenditure. Take a look at where you can cut back, what doesn't really need to get paid now, and what does need to get back. Okay, so that's important. Tyrant's reminding me, please remember to pay people first. It is law to pay your staff. Okay, as difficult as it is, you need to pay your staff. Okay, that's for me, is for us at NetWise, there are 2 things that are the most important for us. Number 1 is the paying of our servers, our upstream providers, so that we don't drop the ball on your guys' hosting. And the other thing, these 2 are hand in hand, is the paying of salaries. We try really hard to make sure that as income comes in, that we can get salaries paid. Pay your staff. If you're not in a position to pay your staff their full salaries now, you need to communicate with them. Okay. Often you can find that they're struggling too, but often you can find that there will be a little understanding if they know that they are going to get their salaries and that you're working towards it. Okay, so just realize that that's something you need to take care of. They've got families and they need to feed their children and families as well. Then the fourth thing, in terms of managing your finances as far as a business is concerned, is this. Okay, is this. You need to cut back. You need to communicate with your suppliers. Okay, some of the suppliers you have may be larger companies that can wait a month for them to get their money. If it means that you are going to be able to pay your staff, okay, and that company can wait a month and they're prepared to do that, then you know what you've got to do. So talk to your suppliers. See what you can do in the midst of this crisis to delay payment if you need to do that. Okay? Some are critical services, you can't do that. Okay? Others are services or suppliers that supply products, etc., to you or to your business, or services to your business. If you talk to them, 9 times out of 10 they will communicate with you. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is this. Try to secure stock, okay, for immediate delivery when this lockdown is lifted. When this lockdown is lifted, people are going to want supplies, okay? And if you can be the first in there and you've got your stock secured with your supplier, even if you've got to fetch your stock, however it works, you try to get a guarantee from your supplier that you will get delivery immediately, so that you can actually get out there to your suppliers, to your customers, and get that will go a long way to lifting your business. You need to be one step ahead of your competition. Okay, so that's important. Okay, to communicate with suppliers. Okay, now in the situation we're in now, where we are in a junk status. Okay, we've just gone into junk status. And even for us, I have 2 programmers that work in Pakistan. Paying them has got a lot more expensive in these last 2 weeks. Okay, paying their salaries. But the bottom line is this, is that if I was able to source that work locally and that degree of proficiency locally, I would jump at it. But the reality is I can't find that here. So I've had to go overseas for that. But, you know, during the apartheid era, one of the strong points in South Africa was our ability to manufacture things. And we did a lot of that. Okay? At the end of apartheid, when sanctions were lifted, suddenly we ended up importing everything. And that's been one of our downfalls, is that we are not circulating our currency locally. There's a lot of currency that leaves the country. And yes, we do export, okay, but we need to try to get these industries moving locally, and you might need to resource some stuff locally instead of getting it from overseas. Okay, so be aware that if you can source it locally after this lockdown, then do it. Okay, you strengthen the whole economy doing that. And then communicate with your customers, and this is where I'm going to spend quite a bit of time. Okay, is communication with your customers. It is very important right now that you're actually communicating with your customers. I don't care what business you're in. What matters now is communication. And communication's got to happen at several levels. Okay, the first level is one-on-one communication with your clients. Yeah, and that could be a phone call, that could be a WhatsApp message, it can be an email, letting your clients know that you are around, okay, that you're thinking of them, that you're praying for them, and you want them to be safe. Okay, send that message out. I have received a number of those messages on WhatsApp from people that I haven't even spoken to in the last year. Okay, didn't even realize they were still thinking about me, but they sent me messages and it meant a lot. Okay, send your clients messages, start building those relationships. Okay, because when this lockdown is finished, your competitors are going to be like vultures. All right, so the main thing is keep your relationships with your customers strong during this period, however long this period of lockdown is. You need to do that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that you can do is that you can then market. Okay, you need to continue marketing your business. And my initial thought on this was keep marketing it as you have been marketing it. And I thought, no, that's not right. Okay, what we need to be doing is that we need to be marketing our business at a higher level than what we are. So, Mark, for example, Mark at the Buckaroo. Mark, you are still running your ads. We've run the ads that say that the Buckaroo and the Mullen will be closed, depending on what's happening in that, but you're closed. Okay, but you haven't stopped, you haven't gone silent, you haven't gone away. You're still marketing during this period. And you're still keeping the Buckaroo and the Mullen in people's eyes, okay, and in front of their faces. That's what you need to do. And as I go through the list here, okay, I don't see too many people on this list that are actually doing that. Okay, so you guys need to realize you need to start empowering yourself. I mentioned that earlier. Start empowering yourself by learning how to do different kinds of posting, like on Facebook and stuff like that. Okay, start getting out there. Work with Facebook and Facebook groups. And I'll go through a little bit of that in a few moments for you. But you need to get out there. You need to get onto your cell phones or get onto your computer. Start attracting or signing up to different groups that are in your geographical area or the area of reach of your business. And what you need to do is that you need to start marketing to those people. Okay? During this period, you can see for us, we've not been quiet. Okay? We've not been quiet. We've got these seminars and workshops that we've got running. There's emails that have been going out to customers and clients. We are available on help desk. If there's something you need, we're there. Okay? And that's the important thing, is the communication with the clients, and that backwards and forwards between you and your clients needs to continue. And more than anything now, you're not running around all over the place with your business, and that you are stuck at home. Get on behind your computer or your laptop and start communicating. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. Use Facebook, use LinkedIn, use Instagram. Some of you, your businesses might not suit some Instagram. Instagram reaches a particular group of people. Okay, some of you are in high-tech mining stuff or high-tech electronic stuff. There's a whole world out there. Talk about what you do. Get onto Facebook, start posting some stuff with some pictures and things. Okay, start talking about what you do in that, because that's what's going to build your business when you come out of this thing. No matter which way you look at it, even if people aren't replying to you, but they are reading or seeing your posts, that is communication. Now, I'm very involved in relationship fundraising. And the organizations that have understood the concept of building relationships are the ones that are successful. They are the ones that are getting the money. And it's important that that if you've got a small business online and you've just started up, Charlene, I'm thinking of your business and that, get onto Facebook, start promoting your businesses, etc. on Facebook. Okay, you can do that very creatively, without any problem. I'm going to show you in a few minutes really what you can do, what you need to be doing. Are there any questions at this point before I move on? Just waiting to see if any questions come through. Okay, Kathy has asked about Google Analytics, and I can take you through just some basic things on Google Analytics. There is a lot in YouTube on Google Analytics, and I think it'll be a good thing in that if you go there as well. But we'll have a look at Google Analytics in a few minutes. You can glean a lot of information from that as to your your business and your products, and who is looking at what, and what people find interesting. A lot of people look at Janice, you've just said something about you hearing the president speaking. Okay, any idea what that's about? You want to tell us? Okay, while I'm waiting for that. Okay, there was another couple of points here in that. One I've pretty much covered, but point number 6 was this: engage with policymakers. As small businesses, you feel very disempowered. It's as if, does my voice really matter? But you can make a difference even in your community as a business. Okay, and the bottom line here is that you can work with your community leaders. I remember when I was in Johannesburg, in Kempton Park, how we used to deal with the DA leaders from time to time when I was staying in Croydon. And, things that we suggested as businesses, and that, they made a difference. They did try to get things done. Okay, I remember even the one day, one of the DA councillors coming to my office and talking to me about my business and what are the things that are holding us back. Okay, and the answer to that was, things that were not being done in the electronic side of things, like the laying out of fiber, the delays related to laying out of fiber. And it wasn't very long, and the municipality issued the licensing for it. Okay, so talk to your counselors. Get together with other business people. At the moment, you would need to do that online, but get together with them. Find out who they are. Who are some of the key business people in your area, and get hold of them. Okay, and get to know them. And that's one of the first things that I did when I got down to the Cape, to Somerset West. I started linking up with a couple of the churches and some of the businesses. Now, in doing that, you guys are able to work together, make suggestions, and combine efforts in order to get something done in terms of re-establishing your businesses and getting your businesses back up to speed after the coronavirus. Okay, then I've spoken about empowering yourself. Okay, again, take time to learn social media. Okay, there are wonderful tools, and it's amazing that two groups of people that have really done very well in this area now are some of the schools. Okay, they have. I mean, if I look at my daughter's school, okay, she goes to Jeppies, but there's no issue with the kids not having internet. They are literally holding their classes real time on the internet. Okay, all their work and everything goes onto Google Classroom, and they use Zoom and things like that to communicate with teachers. And Charlene has to be at a desk at 8 o'clock in the morning when school starts, and when school finishes at 1:15 that's when she gets away from the computer. She has a normal short break and long break, but the work is there. The teachers post the work just before that period is to begin, and they carry on doing it. Now, different schools have done it different ways, but a lot of schools and teachers, for me, teachers were the nightmare when it came to computers just 5 years ago. Okay, I have a sister who is a school teacher, and I have a brother-in-law who is a school teacher. And I want to tell you, to get them to where they are now has been a nightmare. Okay, it's amazing how teachers are sometimes the ones who are the furthest back when it comes to tech stuff. Okay, so the key thing here is that they've had to get up and to start working on these things and to learn, and they had to learn quite quickly. Okay, the other are churches. I look at even what our church is doing down here. I mean, right now, if I wasn't in this discussion here, I'd be on a Zoom session for the Monday night prayer meeting with everybody connected up. Okay, so meetings in our church have been replaced with online meetings. Prior to these online meetings, most of these people had no clue how to set up a Zoom, how to set up a stream, okay, or a streaming service of any kind. But they've learned, they've taken the time and they've embraced it. And so churches have done it, schools have done it, we as businesses need to do it too. Okay? Get your business online. And I'm not saying do e-commerce. Some of you here don't even have e-commerce type products. Okay? So what you need to do is to get going on marketing your business. Okay, using the tools that are available to you, and there is plenty. All right, set aside a few hours or two hours a day right now. Set aside 2 hours and begin moving forward. Janice, you said that you are using Google Classrooms, but one of the issues is the connection, which is limiting video chats. Yes, that is a problem, especially if you're not using fiber. Okay, if you have good LTE, you can, but that is expensive. So generally, sometimes the video chats are not a good idea. And audio recording uses much less data, and you may need to do classroom teaching, etc., using audio, not video. Okay, but the other side of the coin is this: is that several of the providers today announced that they are going, as from the 1st of October, anybody that has a 4 megabit line and an 8 megabit line to their homes, will be upgraded to 20 megabits for the duration of the lockdown. So Janice, if you guys are on fiber and you're using a 4 or an 8 megabit line, that problem should resolve itself. All right. Now, getting to a couple of technical, just kind of to chase a rabbit here a little bit. Okay, on the technical side of things, you need to understand or realize that when it comes to streaming service, for example, I can host or start a Skype conversation and add 2 or 3 people to it. The way that these services work is that the person who starts the call or the person who initiates the session when it comes to Zoom is the person who actually is the server. So on your computer, okay, if you've got 4 people connected, then it'll be a 128 megabit stream times 4. Plus yourself makes it times 5. And that's what slows your internet down. So sometimes using a voice chat instead is actually better. Or like what we're doing here is that I'm streaming this, all right? And once I'm done streaming this video will then be available for however long I leave it up. So you could go back in a half an hour and come and watch this thing again. And it's there for you. Okay. So Janice, you're on a 10 megabit fiber at home. If it's any one of the major providers, on the 1st of April, it will be running at 20 megabits, according to the reports that were released this morning. Okay, so 10 megabits, 4, 8, 10, everything, the lowest speed of fiber during the time now from the 1st of April to whenever the lockdown is finished will be 20 megabits. Okay. Charlene, you're asking, do I post on a daily basis on Instagram, Facebook? And I also promote my social pages, but it always comes with a price. Do you want to explain what that price is? The key thing is the biggest price for you should actually only be time. Okay, it really should only be time. You should be out there being able to promote on Instagram and Facebook without it costing you anything. Okay, if you're using sponsored ads and paid for ads, that's one thing, because then obviously you have to pay for that. But what I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes is just on Facebook on how to market yourself using groups and posts. And there are some rules which I will explain that you need to be careful of as we go along. Okay. All right. So I think let me start looking at that so that we can pick up on that a little bit and discuss it. So let me get my screen open and I will share that with you now. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. Okay, so I'm logged into Facebook and Facebook will come up now. Okay, there we go. And hey, Mark, you're there. I've got actually logged into Mark's. We've been doing some marketing for him. So let me switch over to my one. Okay, there we go. Switching over, and then we can take a look at this. No, don't want that. Okay, so Charlene, I'm just if you get a chance, just comment back to me as to what you mean it comes with the price, and then I can work on that. Okay, comment on that. All right, so here we go. So Facebook, there are 2 areas in which you can market. Okay, and what you also need to understand with Facebook is that Facebook is designed as a social media thing, but not as a marketing tool. They do have a little bit of a marketing aspect to it. You do have your business pages, like we've got over here, the NetWise Multimedia business page. But I'm going to begin by telling you this, all right, is that this generally does not bring you business. Okay, if you can speak to any digital agency and they will tell you that having a business page here is not going to be a situation where everybody's just going to come to your page and you're going to do great with it. The fact of the matter is that if you look at Facebook stats, Facebook will tell you that this has not proven very successful. Okay, so I'm going back now to my stream. Okay, on my stream, And that is just, I've got about 4,500 friends here, okay? And some of these friends are related to business people I know, etc. Some of them are just people that have been put there because of various connections or whatever that I've picked up in my marketing. So for me, Facebook as a personal profile is really just a tool for marketing for myself. Okay. So what I'll do is let's go to Facebook groups. Okay, so explore groups. And you will see that we are signed up, I'm signed up to numerous groups, okay? Some of them are, these are just people who want me to join their groups, okay? If I get on, I'll eventually get to the groups that I actually belong to. Okay? And these build up as you go along. As you add groups, people will want you to join their groups. A lot of them we just don't worry about. But yeah, there's a lot here. And so in these groups and that, you want to start posting. And posting with groups is something that you've got to be pretty careful about. Okay, you can get yourself blocked on Facebook. We call it Facebook jail. You can get yourself blocked if you do too much. So there's a couple of rules here. So how do we go about posting our business? I'm going to do this. I'm going to post something for NetWise Multimedia. So the first thing I do is I will go fetch an image. And what I want to do is go in here. Digital marketing. That image can be a video or a static ad. So I'm just going to use a static ad and one of the ads, and I'm going to use that one there. So the first thing that I do is I open it and I don't post on it. I just send it straight onto my line. The reason I don't post for that, with that, is that Facebook will look at the text above and text below when I start sharing, and if I have the same text over here as I have below, then what's going to happen is that they're going to earmark it as spam. Okay, so that's the first drop. Second drop is I share it on my own timeline again, and I say something like this: do you need a website? Do you need a website? Full stop. Question mark. Check out some of our professional designs. Oh, there's a typo. Now, what you do, and where a lot of people make their mistake, is this: you want to drive traffic to your website. Okay? Sharing stuff on Facebook and selling stuff off of Facebook, for most, there are people who are exceptions, but for the most, does not work. And the question is why? The answer to that question is this: is that people go and create conversation points on Facebook. Okay, trust for a product is not built on Facebook at all. So basically, you can talk about your product or your products. You can say to people, go there, go check out our products or whatever. But the bottom line is, if you're driving people to your Facebook business page, that's a dead end right there. Okay, you need to drive them to your website. So all social media, which is discussion points, needs to be driven to your website. Why? Because that is where trust is built for your product. I should be able to go to your website at any given time and find all the information I need about you and your products there. You don't find that on Facebook. Okay? You post something, it's there, then it's gone. It's off my wall within minutes. Okay? So how do we make sure that we can get people to our website? All right, so let's have a look at that. So there we go. There's our post, and it's ready to roll. Okay. So I say visit https:// whoops, take it out. Yes, okay. So I put the URL in there, and then I post. Right, so that's the first post that I have. All right, so it's on my own timeline, which means about 4,000 500 people will get it. There you see it's there. So I'm just going to copy that text. Now, why I told you not to put it in first is that if you had put it in first, it would have appeared here as well at the bottom on this post. Okay. So that is something that you need to watch for. Now, obviously, it's a long way down the page because there's 4,500 people. So all I have to do is go back here and pick up that same post here under my name. Okay. Now I've shared it once according to this. Now I'm going to start sharing in groups that I've already signed up with. So I share in a group. Okay, I'm going to share in Somerset West. And you can see there's a list of all the groups that I'm subscribed to in Somerset West. And then I paste it there with the link. And then now there's a key reason. Okay, yeah, they don't like that. Okay, some people will only take messages by email. All right, let's try another one. All right, let's go to Helderberg and Gordons Bay. Okay, and I post. There we go. It's been successfully shared on that group. Now that group might have 5,000 people on it, which means that 5,000 people get your message. Okay, so you can see the difference between posting on a group and posting in a group, posting on your individual wall. If I post on my individual wall, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have a situation where I'm going to have a situation where only that small group of people are going to see it. But on the other side is if I post in a group, that's one group of 5,000 people. Okay, so which is better? If I can post to 15 groups, let's say each have 5,000, let's say there's a crossover of 1,000, so let's talk 4,000 people per group. You see how many people I'm going to reach with that ad. The second aspect is always putting the link in, okay, like I did there. Because the moment somebody clicks on that link and goes across to your website, if you have search engine optimization done, our SEO package done, what happens is that Google Analytics is going to pick up that link came from Facebook and to your site, and it's going to affect your search engine results positively. And we all want that. Okay, so that's basically posting in groups. All right. Now, Facebook does have prepaid ads. I'll be honest with you, I very seldom ever use them because I find that often you just spend a lot of money and it becomes less effective. Okay, so going and finding groups is not a difficult thing. Okay, I'm going to go to my wall. All right, and I'm just going to type in, I'm going to go to groups. Okay, I'm going to type in, let's say Edenvale. Okay, and search, and you can see along here I can select that I only want to see the groups. There's all the groups that I belong to in Edenvale. Okay, all right. So to apply to a group is a simple thing. Okay, I can say I want to apply to that group. It says join group. It gives you, if the group allows a page, a business page, and a personal profile, it'll come up like that. Otherwise, it'll just accept you like that. You may have to answer one or two questions, like for example, why do you want to join Eden 610? Okay, you can say, well, I am a resident in Edenvale. Okay, I'm not, but I have family, so I'm just going to leave it at that for the purpose of this thing. Okay, do you live in Edenvale? Yes. You might want to answer here, I want to share my skills with someone, with others. Oh, been behind the computer too long today. I want to share, okay, behind others. Do you live in Edenvale? Yes, you could say I'm in Eden Glen. And yes, I agree to the rules and submit. Okay, so what will happen is with that submission now, you'll see the status has gone to pending, and 9 times out of 10, the moderator or administrators in the group will allow you in a short period of time, and you can start posting on that group. Okay, so you add yourself. Now, the key thing here is to go and add people in the column and add groups. Post in here, okay, on your stream, okay, the timeline, and go and post in the groups. Do that. Don't never post more than 10 groups when you start out. 10 is the magic number if you want to stay out of Facebook jail. But add other people, comment back on their posts, okay, show people that you're interested, and you will see that people will start responding to you and that kind of thing. Sometimes in that you can even pick up work. You can see people talking about jewelry or whatever, and you own jewelry. What happens is that you are able to, I think, start corresponding with that person and land up by selling stuff to them. Okay, but always refer people back to your website. So Facebook is the biggest one that people will need to or use as far as marketing is concerned. Okay, you can do the same in LinkedIn. The same principles apply. The only thing in LinkedIn, don't go and set up an actual business page of any kind, because what's going to happen is that they're going to bill you, and they're going to bill you hefty for it. Okay. Twitter, people ask me about Twitter. I'll be honest with you, I don't really worry too much with Twitter. The reason I don't worry with Twitter is because, not because they're twits, okay, but because of the fact that, Twitter requires people to follow you, and ideally, if you're a person of interest and that kind of thing, then yes, because people will want to follow you, they'll find you, and they will follow you, all right? But to go and do marketing on Twitter, my opinion is that I have never really seen anything come out of that, as long as I've been doing web development, which is over 20 years. Okay, so I don't see much coming out of Twitter. LinkedIn, your best strategy is to add people to your mailing list, and then go and mail the people out of LinkedIn on a one-to-one, offering your services and that kind of thing, and build up a list. That's how LinkedIn works. Okay, if you want to do Instagram is a younger generation thing. A lot of the millennials and younger use it, and at the end of the day, if you're selling jewelry or you're selling cosmetics or anything like that, that's a good place to go and to do some marketing. Again, always put the URL back to your site in it. Okay, so my biggest encouragement to you this evening is, don't resign yourself to, oh, I've tried this but it doesn't work. Okay, if something doesn't work, for me, I've always adopted this approach. Okay, I will try something on social media marketing for 3 months. The first month is an introduction month where I start making contacts and whatever. The second month I start pushing my products, and then during the third month, while I'm pushing my products, I kind of expect to see some form of feedback. If I'm not getting it, I'll try something else. Okay, it might just not be the right approach, or it might not be the right product for that platform. And that is the way to go about it. Okay. Now, some people who are in cosmetics and jewelry, the key thing is, let me ask you these questions. And this is not only cosmetics and jewelry. It goes for a lot of kind of products that are out there. Number one, what have you done to actually get out there and put up a display and introduce people to your products so they can see it in front of them? Then let them go to the website and order it there. Okay? Look for opportunities out there once this lockdown is over to get out there and get your products on display. I know, for example, in Johannesburg at Horwitz Farm, they have a little craft market thing there. Go and get yourself a table. Okay, and make yourself some leaflets. Get out there and market your business. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and it's not easy in the environment that we're in now. Okay, and the bottom line is, it's going to take a lot of hard work for each and every one of our businesses to move forward in the midst of this thing. And if this lockdown gets extended, which I think it will, we're going to need to find really creative ways in which to do this. I want to remind you of one thing, and that is that if you have a small business, check and see if you are able to apply for some of the funding that the government has made available to small businesses. Okay, you do not need to be 51% black owned. That was a fake news item that went around. But go and have a look at their site and go and see whether you can, in fact, apply. And if you can apply for some business relief, go for it. Okay, there are other ways to do it as well. If you know somebody who is in a good position in a larger company, put a proposal together. Ask the company concerned, ask them to promote to their company, your company, and see if you can partner with that company. See if they will invest in you to help you get going. Nothing like a little bit of investment. And several of our clients have done that. They've had other companies that have invested in them. And that's what's got them to take off. Rule of thumb with businesses as it is. First 3 years of your business is the hardest. But I want to also just leave you guys with a thought. Okay, I have a cousin here in Somerset West who sells children's clothing online. She started her site off, and for the first 4 years, she actually spent more money on it than what she got. But she didn't give up. She didn't give up. She pushed forward. She did marketing. She marketed at a crazy rate on Facebook, on YouTube, and the whole lot. She went and she put out. Go to like a market, go and put out a table. She'd have little banners made up of her business name, her website address, little business cards, and she pushed it and she pushed it and she pushed it. Okay, we're now 6 years down the line. She pulls in a salary of about 35,000 Rand a month selling children's clothes online. That's a good salary. Okay, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's going to require a lot of hard work for you to do that. For some of you, it might be e-commerce. For others of you, it might be sitting down and better communicating with your clients. For some of you, it might be fundraising. But my biggest word of advice is don't sit around and mope about the current situation. It will pass, and we will rebuild our businesses. And that's something that we've got to think about. And if we're not preparing ourselves now, okay, if we're not preparing ourselves now for the period after lockdown, we're going to be sorely sorry when this lockdown lifts and business is up and you can't supply what you need to your customers. Okay, so yes, it's hard and it's going to be tough, but now is the time to up your marketing game. Now I want you to understand one thing, okay? I'm not saying you must pay us to market. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to pay for us to do your marketing, we'll do that. But self-empowerment is by definitely the best way to go. If you can empower yourself or empower your staff to help you, some of you might want to delegate it because you're too busy, but you've got a staff member that sits around with only about a third or two-thirds worth of workload for a day. You might want to train them up. Okay? And the point is, in training them up, you're empowering them to take your business forward. Don't let the idea that IT or computers are scary stop you. We're moved into a new age of computers and of online purchases and online business. And if anything that this lockdown, okay, is going to get people to do, it's going to get people to learn to work and order and do business more online than ever before. Okay, are there any other questions that need to come through? Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, Charlene. Yes, Charlene, you have an e-commerce, you sell fashion on your online website. So some of what I've said to you really applies. Okay, don't give up, firstly, but make sure you're driving traffic not to a Facebook page, but to your website. When the lockdown is over, try to get to a few places where you can display products and where people can actually take hold of it and they can feel the product, they can see the product, and then promote online from there. Okay, that will get you going. But if my cousin can do it with clothing, with children's clothing, there's no reason why you can't. Okay. Summary, some of the president's speech. So the speech was just about how we need to stick to the rules, and thanks to those that are providing services. Okay, that's excellent. All right, at the moment, no extension. It's a bit early to be talking about extensions. Okay, so Charlene, you say you started to sell on Take-A-Lot. Excellent. If you can do that, that's great. Okay, but does anyone know about Loot? Yes, they do. Okay, and they've been around for many years, and a lot of people do, in fact, do that. But again, the bigger thing is to try to drive people again back to your website. So when you market on these things and your orders are there, make sure that when you send your orders out, okay, once you're able to ship orders again, make sure that you have a leaflet there encouraging people to order off your website. The more traffic you can drive to your website, the higher your rankings in Google is going to be, and the quicker you're going to get to page one, and all round you'll find that your sales are going to be better. But it's a good thing that you're trying different platforms. Okay, but don't give up on the Facebook one unless you've done exactly what I've just told you need to do, and take it from there. All right. Janice, you say Udemy has some great courses on all sorts of topics. Great place to upskill. Yes, that is true. Okay, they are actually very good, and I would suggest actually looking at that. If you're looking though to improve on some of your computer science skills, etc., brilliant.org is also a very good site to go to. Some of you might have teenagers at school as well, science and maths, some extra stuff for them to do that's actually fun to do, would be brilliant.org. Okay, they're offering a month's free subscription to their courses. Okay, so those are some of the things there. Okay, so if there are any more questions, that's that, but otherwise I'm going to shut this down for this evening. And what I will do is I want you guys just to watch your emails. There will be short courses coming up on how to update your website, more on digital marketing, which we will do over this period, and they're all going to be free. Okay, just one of the value-added services that we like to give to our clients. If you're in touch with some of our other clients that have not participated here, okay, I would like you to just share the news with them and say to them, hey, you know what? Why don't you try that? Okay. So yeah, there we go, Charlene. You see, posting in groups. Posting in groups is awesome. Okay, purely because you reach so many more people. So go find groups, add groups, and go and start posting in groups as well. Okay, so Kathy, when you say drive traffic to the website, could you get your staff to go to the site every day? No, that's not the point. Okay, the point of driving traffic to the website is that your people that visit your web page, or people that you've invited or we've marketed to in groups. I need to say this, okay, marketing in groups for Christian organizations is very difficult, and it's easy to get your posts removed. So when you are promoting, Kathy, in groups and that talk about a theological college, use the term theological college, don't use the term Bible. Okay, you can use the term BISA, that'll be fine, but if you use the term Bible, I'm going to take 3 weeks to get you off the blacklist. Okay, if you're posting in groups. So don't use the term Bible, or the other word is scripture. Okay, we have a client, Scripture Ministries. They blocked him on the first day. Took me 3 weeks to get him off that list. Okay, so don't use the word scripture, don't use the word Bible. You can say, use the term Christian studies if you want to, things like that, but stay away from the word scripture and the word Bible. It does invoke a very quick blacklisting on Facebook when you're marketing on groups. Okay, then Tyron made a point. Yes, I did make this point in the fundraisers group. You might have staff that are sitting at home at the moment. Okay, so Tyron is saying, yes, get your staff to go there on their phones as well. It helps. Okay, yes. Okay, get your staff to search for your website. Okay, So if they search for your website, they find it, they go in. There's one little warning, one caveat. Okay, if they go into the website, you search for the website and they click and go through to the site, they need to click on one more page. Otherwise, Google lists that as a bounce. Okay, that means that's a negative ranking, not a positive. So in other words, in Google's mind, well, that Google doesn't have a mind, it's an algorithm. If you go to a website and you go away from the website immediately, it means that you weren't interested in the site. Okay, so if you've got people that are going to your site, please ask them to click on a second page. Even if they only stay on their second page for a few seconds, they need to click a second page in order for it to count positively. So yes, you can get people to search on cell phones, etc. But there's the other side of the thing. Okay, while your staff are at home, and if you can do this, especially if you're a small company, have some of them phone all the clients. Don't you go and do all of it. Take your team and split up your list of clients or potential clients. You handle the potential clients, and then give them the clients, and just let them phone the clients once or twice during this period. Find out how they are. Let them know that you're thinking about them, and we look forward to seeing you guys when this is all over. Okay, they will appreciate that. It builds relationship, which builds loyalty. Okay, as soon as people trust you, then what happens is that they will then listen to you. Okay, and that's a known thing in business and in fundraising. Okay, in fundraising, we have a saying, okay, and that's this: people will not give to what they don't know. And if you're just yet another supplier out there to your customers, then yeah, I mean, you could be selling jewelry and 20 other sites are selling jewelry, they feel no loyalty to you. But if you build a relationship with those people, they're going to come to you first. It's an age-old principle, and it still works. Even the millennials are like that. Millennials are very different to the other generations, but that's one principle that millennials live by. Okay, is a loyalty at their level. So if you can get down into that level, go for it. Okay. All right, folks, I think we're going to call it quits. Think about these things. You're welcome to comment back on this channel. Okay, I'm going to leave the channel open for about 10 minutes. Maybe just tell us what you thought about this and information. If this is being helpful to you, then please say so, because we don't want to sit here and make videos that are going to put you to sleep. What we really want is to be able to help one another. If there's anything you feel that we need to cover in another video, in our next video, please put it in the comments field. So I'll leave the comments and then running for about 5 minutes, with the video running for about 5 more minutes, and then what we'll do is I'll then shut it down, and I'll take any comments that have come in and just list them, okay, and keep that information. Okay, so I wish you guys everything of the best. I hope you stay well, and that you will continue to just look after yourselves. And we look forward to continuing our relationship with you and you with us in the coming months and years. So have a good evening further.